General Hospital has always been a part of my life. I am a third generation viewer. My grandmother watched it, my mom watched it, and now I watch it. They all watch it with me. We all watch it together still to this day. My first memories of the show was when I was a little kid. I could specifically remember the Faces of the Heart intro with Luke jumping onto the boat and Sunny jumping off of that elevator. Those specific scenes always stuck in my head, even though I wasn't watching the show fully back then. After that, whenever I'd come home from school, I'd catch bits and pieces of certain episodes here and there. I do recall like early J-Sam and Sunny and the Mob Wars and Faith and the whole thing that went down at the church, like bits and pieces of certain storylines. Michael's fake death, like different things like that. I didn't become a full-fledged viewer until 2005 during the Trainwreck storyline. Once I started seeing that everyone was going to be at the same place at the same time, I sensed that disaster was about to strike, and I officially became hooked with the show, and I have been a viewer ever since. At that point I was in high school, and I went to a Catholic high school, so I'd be off at about 2:45, and this was back when the show aired at 3 o'clock, so I would run like hell to get home to catch the episodes from the beginning, or as close to the beginning as humanly possible. Thankfully, I wasn't too far from my high school. Now, it was at this time that YouTube was slowly becoming a thing, but not so much of a thing that you couldn't upload copyrighted material. And at the time on the show, 2006, that's when they were bringing back a lot of characters from yesteryear, from the distant past, such as Robert Scorpio and Holly Sutton and Anna Devane. And I will never forget when Robert Scorpio appeared out of the fire on the Markham Island. My grandmother went so crazy, and I wanted to know what the big deal was because I've never seen her react that way on the show, like watching the show ever. So I went onto the message boards and just would listen in on people's conversations about them, and people were genuinely upset on how these characters were being written. I mean, I thought Robert was cool, and I thought Anna was hilarious, and that Holly was very, charming, but I didn't know that they were being written out of character. Once I read those conversations, I took it upon myself to go onto YouTube and look up their storylines from the past, and I got instantly hooked. I would binge watch the Asian Quarter storyline, the Aztec Princess with Frisco and Felicia, and then I would watch the, the Mount Rushmore adventure, and eventually later on in that year, there was all this talk about Laura Spencer coming back to the show and waking up from her coma, and I was like, okay, why is everyone making a bigger deal out of this situation? And then I found out about the whole Luke and Laura phenomenon, and then I would watch their storyline, so like the Left-Handed Boy and the Ice Princess, and I got extremely hooked on Luke and Laura. I became a die-hard fan and got to fully invest, my emotions into her comeback, and every time that she's come back since then has been a joy for me to watch. Watching the downfall of Luke and Laura, not really my favorite thing, and I have, an opinion on the whole Tony Geary really kind of sabotaging Luke and Laura, but it is what it is. Luke is gone, Laura is rocking the show and doing such a great job right now. But yeah, that is how I got hooked onto the show, past and present. It's how I know a lot of the show's history because I binge watched so much of it when I was younger. But yeah, right now, I'm not always happy with the state of the show, but I will be watching until the show ends because, it is a big part of my life, and it's a big part of my family's life, and 56 years is a lot to be proud of. Congratulations, GH, on your 56 years of success. I hope that you get a whole lot more. Keep it going. Love you guys. Bye.